I am the pretty guardian in a sailor suit, the champion of love and justice. I am Sailor Moon, and in the name of the moon, I will punish you.
Welcome back, spooky friends, to episode 26 of Crips and Corks. I'm your host, DJ, here with my co-host and executive producer,
Paul, as usual. I do want to note that I do not force the DJ to call me the executive producer.
No, I chose to do that.
It's like I have a gun to your head and I'm like, what am I again, DJ? Say.
Because you're so much more than the co-host.
Thank you. Oh my gosh. I'm going to shed a tear. It's only 9 a.m.
Oh, is it only 9 a.m.? It's nearly 10.
Yeah, and this is early for us.
We shouldn't have said that. People are going to be like, these bitches are drinking wine at 10 a.m.
Well, in Uncorked, we were drinking at 10 a.m. and we
didn't have to tell the listeners that.
Yeah, but we did.
We did.
And for those at home, we do record at like 3 in the afternoon, which drinking at 3 in the afternoon, is that any better?
I mean, in my grandparents' household, that's a Tuesday.
Your grandparents are living the dream.
I'm not even lying. I come out for lunch at 3 p.m. because we work late shift. And Bill's like, babe, you want a drink?
He said, it's time for a cocktail in the Interior Illusions Lounge.
Oh my god.
It's time to untuck, babe. Which sometimes it probably does seem like untucked. Do they ever argue when they're drunk?
Yes, and they also read me for filth.
So it is like untucked, exactly.
It is like I'm just there eating my reheated pasta.
Mm-hmm.
And my grandmother will just look at me and go, when are you gonna get married and get out of my house? Not really.
Right.
I just needed an example, but no, sometimes she'll read me for filth.
Right. It's like your own version of untucked.
Oh, the best was, we've talked about how I wear makeup.
Mm-hmm.
And this was right after I really started doing it. And I walked in the kitchen. It was my day off from work.
Mm-hmm.
And she goes, you know, I haven't said anything and I wasn't going to say anything, but this has just gone too far. You need to go to the bathroom and wipe that makeup off. You look ridiculous.
Oh my gosh.
And I looked at her, horrified and outraged, and said, what? And she said, you look like a French tart with all that blush on your face.
And I oop. Damn.
The rage in me grew as I said, I'm not wearing any makeup. That's my rosacea. And she said, what? And I was so outraged, I took her hand and I wiped it down my face and said, look.
Damn. She said, you look a mess, bitch. And that was literally just your skin.
She literally said, you look like a bad hooker. And I had to say, no, that is my dermatological condition.
Oh my god, the ultimate read, and she didn't even know. That's wild. That's so awful. Like, I'm sure, hopefully you can think it's funny now.
Oh, I think it's hilarious. This was like 3 years ago. I tell this story all the time.
Because it's a pretty funny story, honestly. Has your grandmother said anything about your makeup sense?
No, now, like, if she thinks it's a little heavy, she goes, you're a little heavy on the blush, or you're a little heavy on the lipstick. Wipe it off.
Oh my god.
Which, normally she only does that when I'm going for, like, a natural look to go to, like, a family function.
Mm-hmm.
In which case, it is generally helpful. But also, because I worked in makeup, I do tell her when she messed up her makeup. I'll go like, ooh, that liner, nanny.
Damn. No one's safe in your household? Everyone's getting red?
No, I told you the story about how when my grandfather and I moved the 200-pound grill by myself, he was outraged.
Yeah.
He was not outraged, he just was like...
Right.
So, Paul, how was your week?
It was pretty good, you know? I realized this week, though, like, how many people actually have podcasts. Like, there are so many people I enjoy watching, and they all have podcasts, and it's so impossible to keep up with all of them. There's so many I want to watch, and then I'm discovering new ones all the time.
Yeah.
It's crazy, like, how many people actually have podcasts.
Yeah, and like some of them have like multiple podcasts because like Shane Dawson and Ryland, I forget Ryland's name, Mrs. Shane Dawson.
Damn. Yeah, they have the Sip and Shane with Friends.
Yeah, and then
Ryland's is the Sip.
The Sip, yeah, so that's
2.
So that's 2 for Ryland. And doesn't Shane have another one? No, he does vlogs.
Yeah. I know Drew Afuelo has like 3.
Yeah. I could not. Christine Schaefer on, and that's why we drink.
Mm-hmm.
She's on 2 podcasts. She does, and that's why we drink, and then she does one with her brother called Beach Too Sandy, Water Too Wet.
What?
It's a comedy podcast where they read like bad reviews of like places to visit.
Mm-hmm.
And so like the reviews are like the beach was too sandy, the water was too wet.
Okay, I'm here for that. I'll have to check that one out. That sounds funny.
It's kind of like in college, like we would do monologues, but we started to print out bad reviews from Amazon.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Wait, so you did that in college? So
Oh, yeah,
you and your friends would print out bad reviews on Amazon.
And we would do dramatic readings of them like they were monologues.
Okay.
But yeah, I can't imagine. I can barely do the research for this singular podcast.
All right. Well, honestly, I could probably do like a pop culture podcast on the side if it was only 15 minutes or something like that. Like, of course, all of my effort would go into this one, but I could see myself like doing a pop culture podcast or something.
Yes. Okay. I guess I could see myself being like a consultant on one, not like a consultant, but like a panelist where like Shane Dawson's, where he has like, it's him, Ryland, and 3 other friends.
Yeah, it's him, Ryland, Chris, and his brother, Jared, and sometimes his wife.
Exactly. So I could do something like that where I'm like one of 5, and there's like, I am not always required to contribute.
Right.
A ton.
See, I think 5, there comes a point when there's too many people on a podcast and people just start talking over each other. It gets to be a lot.
I think 5 is the sweet spot. You have, like, on TV, you have The Talk and The View, where it's both panels of 5 people just talking. And even in college, I was on a college radio show, and it was me and 4 other people just shooting the shit.
That sounds like a lot of fun, actually.
It was. There was, like, I took on, like, who runs the Whoopi Goldberg on The Talk, where she like kind of is the moderator, and she's like keeps everyone on track.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So that was you on that show?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like I would present the topic, and then I'd be like, well, we're supposed to be talking about, because it was literally an hour and a half of us just talking, and sometimes we would get really off.
Right. Which we do too sometimes. Yeah. And so,
do you want to talk? I feel like I already talked about my week talking about my grandparents. I don't want to take up any more time.
Well, then, I guess that brings us to the finale of our good Judy, Tara Yummy.
Pour out a DC for her.
Yes, pour out a DC for the homie. Tara Yummy made this month so much fun. I'm sure you guys have already seen on our TikTok where we had our matching Tara Yummy outfits. Those iconic.
I would like to speak out on the Tara Yummy outfits. They were iconic. However, I bought them at the very last minute. In the tops, the pink tops, they only had 3 sizes available. Large, extra, extra large, or extra small, which looked like it could fit a life-size Barbie.
Right. I'm not surprised.
Paul got the large, and it fits him perfectly. He looks so iconic, but that meant that I had to get the extra, extra large, and I kind of looked like a slob.
No, you didn't. And
Once I rolled it up.
no, once you rolled it up, it was fine, and it was good, and it looked good. I wish we both had larges, and we both looked as iconic, but thank you for taking one for the team. Very much appreciated. I'm saluting DJ right now. I know you guys can't see, but I'm giving him the salute.
Thank you.
Yeah.
The Crips and Corks salute.
DJ has flicked me off, guys. I'm calling the police.
That's the Crips and Corks salute.
Oh my god. Yeah, so back to Tara Yummy. She's an icon, she's a legend, and what we can take away from this month with Tara Yummy is always just believe in yourself, take what people throw at you, and empower yourself with it. Yeah, just be a freaking icon and know you're that bitch. Because you know what? You are that bitch, and Tara Yummy teaches us that. And no matter what people say about you, whether they say you're a pick-me, whether they say you need to get back with your boyfriend, or whatever they say.
You yap.
Right, if you're a yapper, just own it. Get out there and own it. It doesn't matter what aesthetic you want to be, who you want to be, what you want to do. Freaking own your life. Tara Yummy isn't just a pretty face. She is also a smart person. She is a branding icon. She is a genius, and we are here for her.
You know, Paul, I really have to give it to you because every time you pick a new hot guy of the month, I think, are we really going to do a whole month of you spitting out facts about this hot guy just because you think he's cute? And then we get to the end and you sum up all the life lessons that were the facts along the way, and I realize, oh, no, this isn't just a hot guy of the month. This really is a moment for us to learn and grow. So I really want to, applaud you for that.
Thank you. I was doing my best, and thankfully the people I've chosen so far have made it easy. Now, next month's hot guy is going to be a little bit on the nose, so just bear with me here.
Is it me? It's going to be me.
You got me. You got me.
Finally.
So you heard it here first, guys. We're pouring out our Diet Cokes for Tara Yummy, and maybe now it's time to pour our glasses with today's paranormal pairing.
Yes.
Bow.
We have a Ghost Pines Vintage 2020. It's a red blend. In 1964, Louis P. Martini, son of Napa pioneer Louis M. Martini, purchased 178 acres of land, which the Martini family developed into a vineyard they named Ghost Pines as a tribute to the native gray pines, which at dusk appear to hover, solitary and ghost-like throughout the coastal valleys. Ghost Pines Red Blend draws from multiple wine-growing counties to create a wine as unique as the Ghost Pines tree itself. The wine exhibits layered notes of blackberry, blueberry, and brown spice. A smooth mouthfeel and round tannins create a long, complex finish.
Okay. I wish my last name was Martini. That's pretty iconic.
You know, there's a lot of... When I went to Rome, I went to, the Martini Cafe.
Oh, really?
Not the drink martini, but Martini and Rossi, their cafe.
I don't know who those people are.
They make booze.
Booze, okay. And they made this?
No.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
that was
3 good pops. 3 weeks in a row.
Yes, our ASMR girlies, they're coming.
I am on my shit. Smell the cork.
Ooh, she smells fruity. Okay. What's she called again?
Ghost Pines Red Blend.
Red Blend, okay. She smells good.
Sorry, I'm so paranoid over the dripping wine.
Oh
Delightful.
my god, that's so good. Ghost Pine. Where's she from? I kind of blacked out when you read that.
Let me see. It says on the front, 86% from Sonoma County, 7 from Napa County, and 7% from Lake County.
Okay, so it's from California.
Yes.
Oh, she's good, girl. Okay.
Yeah, mostly Sonoma, a little bit of Napa and Lake.
My pussy's on fire. Girl.
We're gonna have to wipe that
Now,
bottle.
I know the past few times we have agreed completely on the wine. How many grapes are you giving it?
I'll give that a 5.
I'm giving it a 5 too. Gosh, one of these days we have to find a wine that we don't agree on.
For a second, after the first 2 sips, I was gonna say 4.5, but that third one, I really got the complexity, which just threw it over the end.
It's really good. This is a wine. Girl, go and get you that Ghost Pines wine. And you know what, guys? This isn't sponsored. But if you would like this,
be.
right, if any wine companies want to sponsor us, hey, shoot us an email.
When we make it big, we honestly have to reach out to that Deer Creek winery and be like, we need to do a line together.
Yes, Crips and Quirks X Deer Creek.
Yeah, for Halloween, we come up with spooky, yeah.
We'll add them in the comments.
I'm gonna burp because drinking wine on an empty stomach at 10 o'clock in the morning.
Honey, that's just a Tuesday.
That's just a Tuesday. All right, Paul, let me tell you a story.
Let's do it.
It's a sweltering day, too hot for man or beast outside. You wipe the sweat off of your forehead as you look at the house before you. Boy, do you hope it's cool inside as you step into its carefully maintained Victorian interior. You step into the sitting room where Andrew Borden was bludgeoned to death and feel a chill. But it's not the air conditioning or a tingle down your spine. You can feel someone looming behind you, and you wonder if Andrew had any idea what was about to happen. Welcome to Lizzie Borden Part 3, The Hauntings.
Yes! So now we're getting into the spooky stuff. My favorite stuff. I'm so excited for the finale.
Those of you who have bared through 2 whole episodes where I didn't discuss any ghosts, I am sorry.
Hey, I think we have some true crime stands out there. Everyone loves a good true crime story.
And I just felt the need to vindicate my good Judy Lizzie.
Yes, Lizzie, we're here for you.
And I brought the facts.
You did. And after getting all those facts and hearing the backstory, I'm on Lizzie's side, girl.
You deadass came into this saying she did it.
Right, I thought she did.
You were like, I'm not budging.
Right, and here we are now.
But like I said, and I don't think I covered this as much at the end of the episode, but since the hauntings do have to do with her enduring legacy, a lot of the story we know of Lizzie Borden is that sensationalism from newspapers. It's rumors. We can't confirm she ever shoplifted.
Exactly. Where's the proof?
It all stems back to that, excuse me. I had to turn my microphone off so I didn't blow your ears out when I sneezed.
It's fine. Your editor thanks you.
You're my editor.
I know.
Yeah, so it's really that hearsay, and so I really wanted to get back to the facts and debunk a lot of that.
Right, you said, wake up, sheeple, and now we're
I forgot I wanted to say that yesterday.
Well, now you can say it all you want.
Oh. Okay, for a quick recap for those of you who didn't just do the entire story yesterday like me and Paul did. Lizzie Borden was the spinster daughter of the wealthy Andrew Borden of Fall River. Lizzie had a very tumultuous relationship with her very cheap, tight-fisted father and her domineering stepmother, Abby. In August of 1892, both Abby and Andrew were found bludgeoned to death in the family's home at 92 2nd Street, where the only other inhabitants of the house at the time were Lizzie and the family maid, Bridget. Lizzie was soon arrested and put on trial and found not guilty, and she remained in Fall River for the rest of her life, which was about 34 years.
Yes, and there she died. You said she died of pneumonia, right?
She died of pneumonia.
Period. See,
not in that house. She moved into a different house in Maplecroft.
Yeah, she had a nice house.
And so, I've got a special 2-location episode for you.
Really? What are both the locations?
We are going to discuss the Lizzie Borden house on 2nd Street where the murders happened.
Mm-hmm.
And we are going to discuss Maplecroft where Lizzie lived after the trial.
Oh, I didn't know that was haunted too. Okay.
Oh, yeah, baby, you know
Period.
it.
All right.
So, like I mentioned, the house still stands on 2nd Street. However, it is no longer 92 2nd Street. It's been renumbered to 230.
230, okay.
Yes. But you can't miss it because just Google the Lizzie Borden house.
Yeah, they do tours and stuff.
It is now a museum and a bed and breakfast.
Yeah. My parents were there recently. My dad and my stepmom were there recently. They said it was really cool and definitely worth the trip.
Did they stay the night?
They did not.
Oh. Well, I can see why because I did look up the pricing.
Oh, is it expensive?
I
mean, probably $400 a night?
No, so to stay in the John Morse room, which is the room where Abby was killed, that's their most popular room. It's $300 a night.
Okay, not bad.
It's not bad. That's the price of a decent hotel.
Yeah.
And you do get breakfast included, I believe. I know you used to. But you can't check until late in the evening because they have tours going on.
See, that makes sense. And there's probably a really long wait list.
Oh, I'm sure. So I don't know if it's quite... Well, it's a tourist attraction, so they're charging for atmosphere, not for convenience.
Right. Plus, Lord knows every ghost TV show there is has been to the Lizzie Borden house, so everyone knows about it.
As I mentioned, you can stay in any of the bedrooms, including the guest room where Abby was slain.
Period.
All of the pent-up energy of the family tensions, the anger of the murders, and the distress of the trial has left its mark on the house, which is now one of the most haunted houses in America. The Lizzie Borden house claims to be the most haunted residence in the United States, and it is ranked number 2 out of the 10 most haunted hotels in the world.
Oh, the most haunted place in America? They've obviously never been to the Lucky's bathroom.
Haunted residence.
Oh, that's where they get ya.
Yes. Although some of those people think that bathroom's their home.
That's very true. That's very true. And if you live in Pittsburgh and you've been to Lucky's, you know what we're talking about, girl.
The house has been painstakingly renovated? Restored.
Okay.
To what it could have looked like in 1892 at the time of the murders. They have period style carpets and wallpaper, furniture. They do not claim that any of the furniture is original. I'm sure if it was original in the house, there's a label on saying that.
Right.
They have displays. They have casts of the skulls of Andrew and Abby. Because remember I mentioned during the trial, they had the actual skulls in the courtroom and then trying to fit the blades in it to prove one of the axes they found in the house was the weapon.
Which is kind of crazy when you think about it.
It was 1892. They were on something else.
Right.
But also, the district attorney told Lizzie that she was not allowed to have her lawyer. And I'm sure there was a little bit of misogyny there. You're a woman. You're not a real person.
Very that. That's what it sounds like.
So, let's get into the hauntings of the Lizzie Borden house.
Ooh.
The house...
Sorry, I had to do my I had to do my frat boy laugh. I don't know why. It just...
That and your Mickey Mouse laugh get me every time. Yes.
You're welcome, kids.
The house is full of opening and closing doors when no one is there.
Ooh.
And remember, there are no hallways, so to get to one room to another, you have to go through other rooms. So can you imagine, you're at the end of the tour. Mm-hmm. The end of the tour group, you're the last person in line. And you go through Lizzie's room, and you go through the connecting door into Andrew and Abby's room, and no one's behind you, but the door closes.
That would be spooky, but I would pay money to see that. See, I would love to have a ghost experience like that. I'm looking for that ghost experience.
You've never had a ghost experience. I always forget that.
Right. I've been to Gettysburg. I've been to the lunatic asylum. Well, that's probably not the PC term for that anymore.
But no, that's what it's called because...
Yeah.
Yeah. If not PC, if it was still open, it would definitely not be correct, but that's what it's called because that's what it was actually named.
Right. So we're going to have to go on those paranormal tours and things until I have my ghost experience, bitch.
Yes. Let me see. Lights will turn on and off. I watched a video with our favorite Sam and Colby.
Mm-hmm.
And they were in the kitchen and they watched in the dining room. The lights are automatic.
Mm-hmm.
And they watched as the lights turned on and off, and they waited till they turned off again. And Sam tested it. It wasn't like a shadow. You had to be in the center of the room before they turned on.
That's crazy.
And no one was in there. They were all in the kitchen.
That's spooky.
Shadows can sometimes be seen darting past the windows by tourists outside.
Oh, like someone's outside of the house?
Yeah, and you see like a shadow.
Oh, so maybe the grounds are haunted too. Which maybe there's a
No, I mean
residual.
like people who are outside look at the house and they see a shadow inside dart past the windows.
People are outside looking in and they... Okay, that makes more sense. Okay.
Yes. Pictures taken in the house sometimes show phantom faces in the windows.
Okay, that would be spooky. If I looked out a window and I saw a face, oh my gosh, that would be so scary.
Pictures also taken on tours will show phantom faces and reflections on walls and sometimes shadow figures. I saw one picture. Ooh. It was a picture of the sofa where Andrew was murdered.
Mm-hmm.
And there was this huge shadow figure, like looming over where Andrew's head would have been.
Yeah, yeah.
And it was kind of hunched, and all I could think of, oh my god, like that's the person swinging the axe.
Ooh.
Oh, I just shivers.
Right.
Let's get into some of the more specific hauntings.
Let's get into it.
It's called the Lizzie Borden house. We, of course, have to start with Lizzie Borden herself.
Mm-hmm.
Our good Judy. The maligned. She only haunts the house part-time.
Girl, she's a busy girl. She got shit to do.
She does spend the rest of her time at her beloved Maplecroft mansion on the other side of Fall River. She is sometimes sensed or heard in her old bedroom. During an episode of Animal Planet's Monster Quest, investigators tried to speak to her in her old bedroom. Lizzie really, really, really hates it when people ask her, did you do it? Did you kill your parents? Mm-hmm. And will respond by slamming doors.
Hey, I'd be mad too. It's a tired girl, like...
And I have this point enumerated later, but I'm going to say it now. I love Amy Bruni. Mm-hmm. She's a paranormal investigator. She has Kindred Spirits. That's her show with Adam Berry. She also was on Ghost Hunters. Mm-hmm. She has a wonderful podcast called Haunted Road that I listen to, and I'll be quoting from that later on this episode of ours. But she has a wonderful take, which is just because a ghost is someone who's dead doesn't mean they're not a person.
Right.
So don't talk to them. Like, give them the respect. Like, honest to God, like, just respect them. And she says all the time that, like, when she goes to, like, Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum, she doesn't, like, go, like, oh, are you crazy? What were you put in here for?
Right, calling them crazy and things.
Like, it's like...
just for the sake of stirring up the ghosts.
Like, hi, like, what's your name? What do you like to do? Like, do you always hang out here? Mm-hmm. And it's like the same with Lizzie. Like, don't go into this place and say to her, like, did you do it?
Right. People probably just do it just to get a reaction, to, like, stir up the ghosts.
Yes,
to get
and don't do that. Don't do that.
I kind of get it. I mean, they're there for a TV show. They want something to happen. They're willing to, like, go there to make it happen.
And that's why I don't like some of the ghost TV shows. Like, there is one ghost TV show who's very known for trying to incense the spirits. Mm-hmm. And that's one of my big problems with their show is, like, dude, you're coming into their home. Mm-hmm.
Hey, he's got a TV show, though.
You got a TV show.
Sorry, almost outed them.
Next we're going to move on to Andrew. It is said that if you leave money on the dresser in his and Abby's room, he will leave you alone. That really makes sense, everything we learned about him in the last 2 episodes.
Right, he is cheap.
He is also sensed in that room as a dark, foreboding presence. I'm conjecturing perhaps he's wary of strangers being in his room after that the 1892 burglary before the murders. Oh. When $100 in trolley tickets and jewelry was stolen from the house.
Yeah. That makes sense.
One tour guide reported that Andrew punched her in the back as she was conducting a tour.
How did she know it was Andrew?
Well, a medium who did contact Andrew reported that he is not friendly and fairly curmudgeonly, just like he was in life.
Some things never change.
It was Amanda Faye. She went with Sam and Colby, and they were doing, she was doing her thing, and she was like, Andrew, do you want to come and talk to us? And she stopped for a minute, and he said, get out.
Now, Amanda, she's the blonde one,
yes.
Right? Okay, she's a good medium. I like her.
Get off my lawn! You ain't hunting my pigeons!
Very.
What do you mean you want a house? I swear, after this week, you never have to hear me do Andrew Borden again.
It's fine. I'm sure there'll be other characters like that, and it'll make a resurgence, and that's fine. It's a pretty funny voice.
My Prospector Pete voice.
What do you mean you want rights?
We're gonna move into spaces in the house now, and not spirits.
Okay.
The first place we're going to go is to the John V. Morse room. This is the guest room where John Morse stayed the night before the murders, where Abby was found slain. This is the number 1 requested room for people to stay in.
Really? It's that active?
No, people want to stay, I want to stay in the murder room.
Okay, that makes sense.
But when people are in there, in the middle of the night, they will hear the rustling of skirts and bed linen, even though they're totally alone.
That's pretty cool.
When Sam and Colby were there, Amanda got the message, Lizzie didn't do it, Morse did, in this room.
Morse did? Okay.
John V. Morse, the guy who was staying in that room.
And how was he connected to the family again?
He was Lizzie and Emma's mother's brother. So Andrew's former brother-in-law, uncle to Lizzie and Emma. But he was also a business partner of Andrew.
So maybe he got fucked over somehow, and
I'm sure he got fucked over. We talked about Andrew's shady business practices. And also, John Morse did not like how Andrew was making Lizzie and Emma live. He did not like that they were being forced to live far beneath their means. Because remember, they lived in a very nice middle-class neighborhood, and they were living without plumbing, without electricity. They did have an icebox, but apparently they didn't use it because that mutton stew nearly killed them all.
Right.
Could you imagine, if they had all just died of food poisoning before the Hatchet murders?
Yeah, but then we wouldn't have the stories we have today. We wouldn't have a 3-part.
It'd be like a medical oddity.
I don't think people would talk about it as much for sure. Maybe if it was as haunting,
I think it'd be like a Fall River thing.
Or maybe it could be...
Oh, Andrew Borden, his whole family and the maid all died mysterious one day.
Right.
Abby said it was poison. Lizzie went to... Because remember, Abby, the day before the murder, said she thought she was being poisoned. And Lizzie went to her friend and said, I feel like something terrible is going to happen.
Yeah.
I think it'd be like a Fall River thing.
I could see that.
Yeah, so that's really... And, ghost paranormal investigators are always in here trying to get Abby to talk to them.
I would, too, if I was an investigator.
Me and Paul said last night we want to visit the Lizzie Borden house. We want to stay in the house. We want to stay in this room. And Paul's going to sleep on the side of the bed where Abby's body was found.
Yep, I'm going to do it. Hey, I'm not scared. I'll do what I need to do, okay? Any paranormal place we go to, I'm ready.
Yes. Next, we're going to go to the Knowlton room, named after Hosea Knowlton, who was the head of the prosecution team. That was the team against Lizzie.
Oh, that's weird.
Huh?
That's weird.
All the rooms are named after someone tied to the case. So on the 3rd floor, they have the Hosea Knowlton room. They have the Andrew Jennings room, named after Lizzie's defense attorney. And then they have the Bridget Sullivan room, named after Bridget Sullivan, who lived in that room when she was the Borden's maid.
Right. Okay.
So this room was actually, at the time of the murders, 3rd floor attic storage space. And once it turned into a bed and breakfast, they converted it into a guest room. And it is noted for having a large chest of toys in it.
Okay, interesting.
The room is inhabited by the children in the well.
Okay, tell me about that. How did the children in the well come to play? What the? They're not even like on the bottom floor. There's no well.
Okay, are you ready for this?
Yeah.
Lizzie's great uncle, Lodwick Borden, lived in the house next door with his second wife, Eliza Darling, and their 3 children.
Mm-hmm.
So this is Lizzie's grandfather's brother.
Mm-hmm.
In 1848, Eliza, perhaps suffering from postpartum depression, took 2 of her children into the basement and dropped them into the cistern to drown.
What?
She then went upstairs, took her husband's straight razor, and slit her own throat.
That's crazy.
This story was dragged up again following the 1892 murders when Lizzie was on trial to see if the Bordens were afflicted with hereditary violent insanity.
Yeah, maybe. Jesus, that's crazy.
It was quickly dismissed because Eliza Darling Borden was a Borden by marriage.
Right, exactly. She's not blood related.
So and like looking back, it was probably just a tragic case of either depression or postpartum depression where she just, at this time, we talked about kleptomania, how Lizzie was accused of kleptomania. Mm-hmm. If a woman was having an issue with anything, mm-hmm. the 3 most common diagnoses were female hysteria syndrome, mm-hmm. the vapors, or kleptomania.
You know, it was a different world back in the day.
I was reading an article about kleptomania, and they literally said that women who had never stolen something in their life were diagnosed with kleptomania.
That's crazy.
It was just one of those fad illnesses.
Oh my gosh.
Also, for the record, kleptomania is a very real condition. However, the vapors and female hysteria syndrome are not. They are very misogynistic terms for mental health and emotional health issues that affect real people.
Right, exactly.
Or convenient excuses to get rid of your wife.
That part too. Men had a lot of easy outs back in the day.
Yeah. Like, oh, Charlotte can't come to tea. She has the vapors.
That part. Oh my gosh.
What are the vapors? Anyways, the children now like to inhabit this room probably because the chest of toys. And they will play with the toys in the middle of the night. Like, people will be in there trying to sleep, and they'll hear, like, the toys moving around and, like, jingling if they make noise. Mm-hmm. One Reddit user recounted a story of being on a paranormal tour in the house. And an elderly couple staying in the room came down, and they were videoing their room as they got in, and they got tape of a ball bouncing by itself across the room.
That's cool. I want to see that video. I need that in my life.
And he said the couple seemed like very normal, very straight-laced, and they seemed as scared as the rest of us.
Right. It's kind of crazy to think that the like spirits of those children, like, why would they come over to the other house instead of staying in the other house? Like, what attracted them?
Probably just getting out of there. The toys.
True. Who knows? That's crazy.
Now we're going to go down into the basement. The basement is not often open to visitors, but sometimes it is. This is where the Bordens had their privy, which was like an inside portage on.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It was a bench with a hole in it, and you did your business in there.
Mm-hmm.
Because they had no indoor plumbing. This is also where the night of the murders, Lizzie was seen at the sink. They found a pail of bloody rags that Lizzie said were just leftovers from her being on her period. This is also where they found the 2 axes, 2 hatchets, and 1 broken hatchet head.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and one thing that I forgot to mention yesterday, a lot of people said that in the immediate aftermath of the murders, Lizzie broke off the hatchet because she couldn't get the blood off the arm, the handle. It's really hard to break a hatchet handle off.
Right, right.
It is not meant to break.
Yeah, it's pretty solid wood.
Yes. And it was clean broken, like, and even if it wasn't, do you know how long it would take to saw through that thing?
Yeah.
With a handsaw by yourself?
Right, it would take a while. People would know what you were doing.
Because we talked about, like, you said, like, oh, you doubted Lizzie was strong enough to wield the hatchet. And I said, well, hatchets are kind of built to, the momentum carries it.
Yeah, yeah.
Where it does the work, you're just the one. A hatchet is designed to do the work, and you're the machine.
Yeah, yeah.
But I doubt Lizzie had the strength to saw it off. I know she did not have the strength to break it off. Right. Because most grown men do not have the strength to break it.
Right, right.
But on the wall of the cistern, much like the one next door where Eliza Darling Borden drowned her children, a face can be seen manifesting on the wall.
I'd like to see that. That's interesting.
Oh, well, I don't have it readily up. I will put in the thing and I'll pull it up for you after.
Oh, yeah, cool.
And Sam and Colby did this where they took a picture and it manifested. It happens when you take a picture with flash. It's like cool. One of those things where it's like ingrained in the wall.
That's so cool.
Mediums, including Amanda Fay from the Sam and Colby investigation, report there's something darker in the basement which sends the other spirits fleeing.
I'm not surprised there's a darker spirit in the house. Honestly, all that negative energy.
And I saw, while I was like on Reddit looking for other accounts, there was one poster who said that she lived in the house next door. And she said all the properties around experience strange things. So like you said with like, oh, the property's haunted, I wonder if there is something with the land.
Yeah, maybe there is.
I mean, you had the double infanticide and the suicide of Eliza Borden next door. Mm-hmm. You had the Borden killings.
There's probably something going on there, girl.
And like Andrew's behavior?
Yeah.
If there is something darker in the house,
could have amplified it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But definitely visit the Lizzie Borden house at 230 2nd Street and let us know what you think.
Or if you visited and have like any proof or evidence or anything, email it to us. I want to see your pictures.
We can do a part 2. Like, I'd love to do like a listener stories with like listener stories of it.
Right. I want to see your evidence.
All right, Paul, are you ready to go? Are you ready to climb that hill?
Oh my God, what's that song? Climbing up that hill.
If I could make a deal.
I didn't like that song.
I love that song. I love Kate Bush. I loved that song before it was popular.
It was cute the first 2 times, but they played it so much that summer, girl.
Okay, but here's the thing. I loved that song before Stranger Things. Mm-hmm. I was listening to Kate Bush in high school.
Oh, yeah. I was playing with some Bush in high school, too.
Oh, my God. So, Maplecroft. This is the home that Lizzie and Emma moved into in September 1893 after her acquittal. This was Lizzie's sanctuary. This was her dream home, which she filled with glittering people, fine things, and beloved pets. This is where she acquired the life she always wanted, but couldn't have because of her father's cheapness.
It was her Barbie dream house.
And remember, we talked about like her parties with actors, and she had one of the first motor cars in Fall River.
Mm-hmm. She was living the fantasy. Well, not the full fantasy because people hated her, but still.
And Lizzie's energy seems to have lingered in her beloved last home where she died.
I mean, if I were her, that's where my energy would linger too.
She does visit 2nd Street.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, she is shy at first and will not make herself known. But after repeated visits and respect given to Lizzie, she will make herself known more. As I mentioned before, Amy Bruni, she investigated and she recounts how Lizzie seems to remember her from previous visits.
That's so cool. I wish.
So like she'll go and like they'll be like, oh, I don't know if Lizzie will come. We had a paranormal investigation here last week and she didn't come out. And then she comes in and she's getting great answers. And she's like, maybe Lizzie remembers me.
That's so cool.
Ghosts are people. Just because they're dead doesn't mean they're not people.
Period.
That's a t-shirt.
Right.
If there are too many people in the house for her liking, she will begin to stomp on the 2nd floor.
She's like, get out of my house. Gets that from her father.
Get out of my lawn! I was listening Morbid, and they were talking about her later life and how she, like, despite the kids tormenting her, she tried to, like, be nice and befriend them, and, like, and I forget which one, but she said, oh, if that was me, to get them to leave me alone, I would just embrace it, like, wear the dirty dress, make my hair crazy, lean out the window waving an axe.
Really just lean into
Lean
it.
into it.
Come here, children.
They ding dong get you with the hatchet.
Darling, guess who's back from jail?
I love him because he's actually pretty cute.
Oh, Carrington? Yeah, he's a model.
But he does that, and it's just, I could see that being his personality. Like,
Yeah.
just because that's how well he inhabits the character.
I know, but honestly, that character, it's kind of hot. I'm kind of here for it.
Have you seen the ones where it's this girl, and I don't even know what she's doing.
Mm-hmm.
She kind of looks like, just her behaviors make her look like an adult rabbit. Like, she, like, will, like, do things with her nose, and
yeah.
she'll go like that.
That cringy Gen Z thing.
Yes.
They're making fun of those cringy, like, Gen Z people.
Yeah, and, like, she's, like, obviously doing something with her eyes, where she's, like, crossing one but not the other, and then she's, like, twitching her nose, and then doing the rabbit thing with her hands.
Yeah, very that.
And it's like, hi, baby. I told you to call me King. Sorry, King.
Right? It's so cringe. Oh my gosh.
Ugh. I'm gonna have to watch that after this.
You will?
Lizzie will sometimes only make herself known after investigators promise not to ask her about the murderers.
It's tired, girl. Like, she's been asked 1,000 times.
And this is her sanctuary. This is where she came to get away from that.
Right. Like, it's tired. Ask her other things. Be original.
One person did, and Lizzie stopped responding and slammed a door.
I would too. Like, get out of my house, bitch.
I think it was like they could, like, she stopped responding. They heard, like, creaks on the steps, and then they heard a door slam. And whoever was there with them, like, caretaking for this, was like, that was Lizzie's bedroom.
Could you imagine, like...
Making a ghost, a century-year-old ghost, storm to their bedroom.
That would be crazy just to experience. Like, that's wild. That would be so cool to experience.
The immediate previous owners of the house, U.S. Ghost Adventures, who also own the 2nd Street house, and
Wait, Zach bought it?
Huh?
You said they own it now?
Not Ghost Adventures. It is a company called U.S. Ghost Adventures.
Oh, and they bought it.
They bought it. They owned it for a while. But, so it was a big mess. They wanted to open it up as a museum and a bed and breakfast in tandem with the Lizzie Borden house.
Oh, okay, yeah.
On 2nd Street. And Fall River said that they could not have tours in there until they made a bunch of renovations. Like, they needed to put in an elevator, they needed to do other things that would just cost too much money because they weren't getting enough revenue in to do this.
Right.
And then COVID hit, so they actually put the house up on the market.
Oh, okay.
So Maplecroft is for sale the last time I checked.
Okay.
I don't know if it's been sold. If you do type in, like, Lizzie Borden Maplecroft, you get all these articles about it being up for sale.
If you're in the market and you want to buy a haunted
For a
house...
7-bedroom haunted house, do have to cohabitate with the ghost of an accused axe murderess.
Hey, comes with the territory.
They always stress to tourists, both in 2nd Street and here, be respectful of Lizzie.
They're in her home base.
You can come and go, she cannot.
Right, she's stuck there.
Caretaker Sue Vickers reports that there is a dark energy in the spirit of a man on the 3rd floor. It is for this reason that she refuses to move into the caretaker's apartment up there.
Oh. Spooky.
Once, she did lay on the bed in the apartment, and she felt someone violently shake the entire bed.
Yo, that's crazy.
And once she was... So as caretaker, when they do have these paranormal investigations, she's on hand a lot of times just to make sure, like, they're not doing anything crazy to the house.
Mm-hmm.
And the paranormal investigators were doing the Estes method. For those of you who don't know, you wear noise-canceling headphones and a spirit box. A spirit box is a machine that goes through radio frequencies rapidly, and ghosts are able to manipulate the frequencies to pick out certain words to communicate.
Right.
So they have noise-canceling headphones so that all they can hear is what's coming through the spirit box, and they're blindfolded, and somebody else asks questions to see if the person channeling through the headphones of the spirit box, you're supposed to call out what you hear to see if they get answers. During this Estes method session, her name was called out repeatedly. She then looked up and saw the shadow man in the door, and when it saw it was seen, it ran off into the dark. It did not unmanifest. It ran.
Spooky.
Goosebumps.
No, that's spooky.
Seeing a spirit person disappear is one thing. Mm-hmm. To see it run...
That's kind of spooky, but why was it running? If it's such a big bad spirit, why doesn't it just, like, stay?
You know, sometimes they just don't like being seen.
Weak.
In the basement during a ghost tour once, a woman was touched. She became really terrified. Like, Sue described it as, like, no one else on that tour would have had this reaction. Like, she was freaked the frick out.
And what we're gonna do now is freak the freak out.
Sue said to the spirit, please don't touch her again. The spirit box then said, I'm sorry.
Oh, yo, that's crazy.
The woman was so distressed by this, she left. She said, I'm out.
That would be crazy. Like, whew.
Sue and Lizzie have a good relationship based on Sue's longtime tenure as caretaker of Maplecroft and as a tour guide at the 2nd Street Lizzie Borden house. So good, in fact, that Sue told Lizzie she thinks Lizzie did commit the murders, but not for the money, but for a really good reason.
See, that's what I was saying before last week's episode. But
could you imagine, like, just... Lizzie... that's mean. Like, Sue doesn't sound like that.
Damn, not you doing Sue like that. You don't
be
even
like,
know where.
Lizzie, girl, I think you did do it, but not for what the reason everyone says. I think you had a good reason.
I mean, she's probably one of the closest people alive to Lizzie right now.
Yeah.
She's like the caretaker in the.
And Lizzie makes herself known to Sue when she's in the house. Like, Sue will be in the house and she'll hear something. Hey, Lizzie.
That would be so cool. I'm the type of person, I would live in a house like that. I would love to live in an old Victorian house that's haunted. Like, I could do that. As
I mentioned, she's tour guide at 2nd Street. She's caretaker of Maplecroft. So she's in a really unique position of spending a lot of time in both locations. And she said that the 2nd Street ghosts do not go to Maplecroft, which makes sense. They had no reason to in life. Why would they in death?
Yeah.
But Lizzie will sometimes visit 2nd Street.
Right. That's the dream job. Don't be surprised if in the future I retire and I'm like in one of these haunted locations, just like I'm the caretaker of one of these haunted locations, and I'm gonna lean into it too. I'm gonna be in a full like haunted spooky gown. Like, I'm gonna lean into it.
I can see that.
Like, I'm not sure exactly what I'd wear, but it would be spooky. I would lean into that shit.
A psychic once told Sue that Emma was in the home, too. That she did come home and that she was with Lizzie in the afterlife. But Sue has not had any experiences with her.
Maybe Emma moved on.
Maybe Emma did. Remember, Emma did leave the house in 1905 and supposedly did not communicate to Lizzie for the rest of their lives.
Which is kind of crazy.
A lot of people said, oh, she must have found something out about the murders. However, Emma was a very shy, withdrawn person. She didn't like a lot of social company. Lizzie was throwing a lot of parties.
Yeah.
And also, Emma just spent the last 50 years taking care of her sister. Maybe Emma just went, you know what, enough's enough.
Exactly. Anything could have happened.
And just because we don't have any proof that they ever communicated doesn't mean that they didn't. They still jointly owned all of the like a bunch of real estate in town.
Mm-hmm.
Like all of their father's properties they jointly owned.
Right.
So in order to buy and sell things, they would have had to communicate even through a lawyer.
Right.
But I mean, who knows? Maybe they just couldn't live together, but they wrote letters to one another and they made an agreement to burn them after reading.
Maybe. Who knows?
So that people didn't.
Honestly, anything could have happened, really.
And remember, Lizzie Borden was a huge animal lover. There are ghost pets in the house.
Aw, that's so nice.
Um,
That's so cute.
People have been known to hear cats and dogs in the house. It is not inhabited, so why would there be a dog or a cat in there?
Right.
And it's not like run down.
Mm-hmm.
One person once told Sue that there was the spirit of a monkey in the house.
That's weird.
Sue later discovered that a later owner did keep a pet monkey there.
Oh, okay. So it's not Lizzie's, it's someone else.
Yeah, but how weird to like somebody's like, there's a monkey here, and just be like, pitch.
That's so weird. I wonder. I mean, I guess like I don't know. It's just making me think like how many spirits are in the woods then, like in like places where animals inhabit.
Don't go in the woods, y'all. And that is Lizzie Borden's Maplecroft.
Spooky. Ah, I want to visit so bad. I want to see the ghosts.
If any of you have millions of dollars to buy a 7-bedroom mansion in Fall River, Massachusetts, Maplecroft for sale.
Right, buy it, invite us. We'll come as many times as you want. I usually come as many times as the other person wants.
I would love, we should buy it and make it Crips and Corks headquarters.
Oh yeah, if you have a couple $1 million that I don't know about. Bitch.
As far as I can see.
Oh my god, if you were a secret millionaire and we're like slumming it here on the weekends.
Oh no.
I'd jump you in the parking lot.
No, I'm looking to see if it has been sold yet.
My gosh.
Shit.
Do you know how often I would go to the Olive Garden if I was a millionaire? It would be a problem.
Too many times. Like, Olive Garden's not that good.
I love Olive Garden. It is so good. You're wrong.
Okay, it finally did sell in 2020, so it's no longer on the market.
2022, you said?
2020.
2020, okay. That COVID
Or
purchase.
wait, hang on. 2022, you're right. 2022.
Okay.
For only $700,000.
Jeez. That's not even that bad.
7-bedroom historic mansion.
That you can turn into a bed and breakfast and turn a profit. Girl, get into it. Like, we missed out on the purchase. If only we had started the podcast in 2022 or 2021 and bought it. Jeez.
If we had started this podcast in 2010 when we were 14, we would have had enough money in 2022 to buy it.
Right, but here we are today. Broke as a damn joke.
If you're interested in staying at the Lizzie Borden house, you can. You can also take tours. They also have a gift shop.
Ooh.
You can get pillowcases, t-shirts, books, jewelry, hats, bobbleheads, and you can get an official Lizzie Borden hatchet.
Ooh. I want a Lizzie Borden hatchet. That would be sweet.
I'm trying to find it on here.
No, I actually want this pillowcase. I want to sleep on the pillowcase.
Oh my gosh.
It's probably not that good quality, but maybe it is. Who knows?
They have a t-shirt here, and it's Lizzie Borden's picture in the style of like the Barack Obama poster.
Mm-hmm.
And it says, Lizzie for President 2024, more axes, less taxes.
Yes, more axes, less taxes. I'm here for that one. I need that on a t-shirt. More axes and less tax. That would be perfect for a lumberjack.
Okay. So you can get the official Lizzie hatchet for only $45.
Ooh, okay.
And for $60, you can have the handle engraved.
Ooh. Sounds like a steal, people. Again, this is not sponsored.
Ugh.
All right. Well,
what a good series. 3 episodes. I don't know how to end it.
Right. It was such a good story, and the hauntings are so iconic. Like, The Lizzie Borden, everybody knows Lizzie Borden. Everybody knows this case. It's like the quintessential American haunting and true crime story all in one. Like, it's so iconic. So many ghost TV shows have been there, so many investigations, and we've gotten so much good evidence of the paranormal from this one or two places. Like, iconic.
Especially the Lizzie Borden house
Right.
on 2nd Street. Like, that's, like, well known. Like, Zach Baggins has been there.
Right.
Ghost Adventures has been there.
Right.
Sam and Colby.
Exactly. And there's also lessons in there too, like how hysteria and misogyny and like how things can just get twisted. And like we see that with Lizzie Borden, how like even though she was proven innocent by a court of law, people are still like spreading rumors and shit. And like even before then, how like there were so many twists and turns, and like from the beginning they were just targeting her just because of the police.
God, yes.
And it just, there's so many lessons to learn.
I could not see from any point in the investigation where they were trying to target Lizzie.
I know, it's crazy. There's just so much to learn, and that's history in general. You have to know your past so you can plan for the present.
Exactly. So, if you're planning on axe murdering your parents, make sure to do it, and then make it seem like you're being targeted.
Exactly.
Also, remember, if you take off all of your clothes, there's no evidence.
That's true too. You just gotta take a good old shower afterwards. But also, I'd feel weird.
I hate the naked theory.
Yeah, it's weird.
That she stripped down naked and she did it that way.
It's very psycho. Like, oof. I hope that's not true. I don't think it is, but I very hope it's
like
not.
I said, it would have been impossible for her to dress or undress, redress, undress, redress in time enough to do it. And here's the thing, the clothes were made in a way that if you didn't have these layers under it, someone would have been like, what the fuck are you wearing?
Right. So many crazy things.
Like, Bridget, because even if you're like, oh, well, maybe she took everything off, killed Abby, only put her top dress on over, and then talked to Bridget, and then killed Andrew, and then put everything back on, and then was like, oh no, it happened. No, because, like, Bridget looked at her, and Bridget would have been like, Miss Lizzie, what the fuck you wearing?
Right, exactly. No, this is a story for the ages. I'm so here for it.
It's a piece of American history.
Exactly. And I hope we can see the Lizzie Borden house very, very soon.
Me too.
Hear that, Lizzie? We're coming for you.
We just need to book like a live show in P-Town, Provincetown, Massachusetts.
That would be cool. That would be fun.
All the gays would love us. We can stop at the Lizzie Borden house on the way.
Yes, that would be iconic. I'm here for it.
All right, everyone. Join us again next week for another spooktacular story.
Yeah.
Please like, subscribe, and comment wherever you listen. If you'd like to submit personal stories or episode suggestions, or if you've been to the Lizzie Borden house and you had a neato story, please share it with us. Email us, cripsandcorks@gmail.com. I nearly said the work email. If you'd like, please follow us on all of our social media. You can find us on Facebook, Crips and Corks, on Instagram, @Crips and Corks Pod, on Twitter, @Crips and Corks, or on TikTok, @Crips and Corks Pod. Paul, where can they find you?
They can find me at my personal Instagram at Paul Ember, PAULEMBER, and my personal TikTok at Paul Ember, EMBER. And I hope y'all enjoyed this grand finale of Lizzie Borden.
And remember, it's not delivery, it's DiGiorno.
Exactly.
You forgot.
Oh, no, I didn't forget.
Oh, did I just jump down your throat?
No.
Oh. If you'd like to follow me, please follow me. I am on Instagram at TheRealDeejPowers, or on my TikTok at TheRealDeejPowers. And don't get accused of hatchet murders. And
if you do, be sure to haunt that bitch.
And don't tell anyone what happened.
All right.
Keep your crips tight.
And your corks loose. Bye. Ooh. I need a melatonin. My roast beef is on fire.